The fighting in Sudan has led to several calls by world leaders for a ceasefire. The chairperson of the African Union Commission, Musa Faki Mahamat, has appealed to all parties to immediately stop the destruction of the country during the last days of Ramadan. He also urged the international community to redouble its efforts to bring the rival parties to the negotiating table. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken tweeted saying he was deeply concerned by the fighting and called on all actors to stop the violence and resume talks. His plea was echoed by the head of the UN mission in Sudan, Volker Perthes, who called for an immediate ceasefire to ensure the safety of the Sudanese people. Now, the fighting in Sudan has erupted at a time the country was waiting for an agreement to begin a new political transition to democracy in Sudan. CGTN's looks at the recent struggle for power in the country.
Sudan began its shaky transition towards democracy after military leaders overthrew long-reigning President Omar al-Bashir after a popular revolt in April 2019. Bashir had presided over the country for nearly 3 decades. After months of heated debate, conflict and violence, the Transitional Military Council and the Forces for Freedom and Change finally decided to share power in July 2019. 3 months later, representatives of the military and protesters had signed a 3-year transitional agreement on May 14, 2019. In the agreement, the Sovereign Council was to be made up of 5 civilians and 5 military members, with 1 remaining seat to go to a civilian chosen by both sides. On 20th August 2019, power was transferred to the Sovereign Council, with General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan as the chair and Abdallah Hamdok as Prime Minister of the Transitional Cabinet. But the 2021 coup quickly put an end to that arrangement, sparking a new round of widespread pro-democracy demonstrations across Sudan. It was on the 25th of October 2021 when General al-Burhan dissolved the civilian government and the military arrested its top officials, including Prime Minister Abdallah Hamdok. There was a great deal of mistrust between the military and civilian parties during the 2019-2021 power-sharing arrangement. The army came back to power following the coup, but it was forced to deal with weekly protests, renewed isolation, and worsening economic conditions. Following increased pressure from the international community, Hamdok was freed on the 21st of November 2021. He was reinstated as the country's prime minister and opted to maintain the power-sharing deal with the military. But with the Forces for Freedom and Change and other groups rejecting the agreement, Hamdok stepped down on the 2nd of January 2022. After months of negotiations and peace talks, various political forces, including the civilian opposition bloc, the Forces for Freedom and Change, signed a framework agreement with the military leadership on the 5th of December 2022 to try and end Sudan's turbulent political crisis. CGTN.